All right, we have a very mature valley oak, 98 foot tall. Measured that with our True Pulse 200, great tool. We need to do a risk assessment on this tree for the utility. So let's go take a look. We do have some dead branches in the crown, some branch failure. Still very vibrant green crown here, but a little bit of decline here and there. A very old tree, very large. Tree just keeps getting bigger and bigger the closer you get to it. Got some girdled, exposed roots here. Looks like a seasonal wash. Support some habitat throughout here. Very dry. California has been very dry the last few years. Definitely experienced in our third or fourth year of severe drought. Very big tree. Not too concerned with these pockets. Tree is very well dug in, but there are, oh yeah, even more over here. We have some rot going into the root system here. Definitely exposed, girdled roots. Pretty cool looking tree, but it's got some stability issues. Being that this side was getting washed out over the years when this area was getting more water, and it grew very big because of the amount of water that it gets. A lot of protein, sunlight, not a lot of competition for sunlight. This tree was really able to stretch out. All right, let's check our distance to the line. We'll go to our slope distance on our True Pulse, and we'll measure that hypotenuse distance from the base of the tree. I like to get about as close to the bottom of the trunk flare as I can, maybe right behind the tree, to get a better measurement from here to the high voltage line, which would be a more accurate representation of the distance. And we're looking at 52 feet. Measure it one more time. Yep, 52 feet to the high voltage line. So that's our hypotenuse distance from the base of the tree to the high voltage line. So we're really trying to max out our matrix here with this objective measurement, saying that if the tree did fail at the base of the tree, how much of this tree could impact the high voltage line. So 52 foot, it's a 98-foot tall tree, so almost 2 times the height of the tree. If it failed at the base, could impact that high voltage line. So that's going to increase the risk ranking, as opposed to if only the top few feet or top third of the tree would impact, it would have less of a strike potential. But being that this tree is pretty close to the lines, only 52 feet with that slope distance and 98 foot tall, we would go ahead and select 1.5 to 2 times on the height factor. So it's not quite 2 times or greater, which is completely maxed out. And we're going to be selecting probably moderate rot. I wouldn't select severe, only because the bole of the tree is actually in really good shape. I don't see any major structural defects with the tree trunk. It's just this lower part, these girdled roots that are anchored into the soil. We have some rot, which will continue to be an issue for this tree over the long term. Really hollowed out. So that's going to allow water and stuff to puddle in there and continue to rot it out. You can see the tree has tried to seal this wound off using coat-it, compartmentalization of decay in tree. That live cell wall was trying to seal off, and it was unsuccessful. It just continued to rot out into the tree. Same thing here. This one had a little better luck. You see that tree was able to seal itself, completely seal its wound off right there. All right. Well, I'm gonna run it through as another example. It's a little dark. If I can get a better picture, there we go. There was a trunk failure, and you can see that ring, that live cell wall, the cambium sealing off around that real nice smooth ring around it, where the tree is trying its best to seal off that wound. But with a giant tear like that, it's very hard when we make our cuts, when we're pruning and making large cuts on trees. We try to go right outside the branch bark ridge line, not leave a stub or a dog ear or anything, and that really allows the tree a chance to seal that wound off. So best arboricultural practice. But when a tree tears like that, they really have a tough time healing themselves completely. All right, I'm gonna run this through the risk matrix and get a score and document this for the utility. All right, follow up on this mature valley oak. I'm gonna have to agree with the software that this tree poses a little bit too much risk to this power line in a high fire threat area. However, we do have signs of habitat. We got this dry wash riparian area with vegetation here in this area that can easily house some habitat, some little critters and animals that would use this area to live, and definitely hold some water when it does rain. So it's going to bring some critters down from the hills here, and may even be some type of little, not even a little, some type of nest going on there. I'm not sure. It could be squirrel, whatever it is. We got to take that into consideration. So we would not want to remove this giant beauty. There's not enough things going on with the structure of the tree that the entire tree is an issue. But these trees, they do tend to hollow out, and some of these larger branches at the top that are angled over towards the high voltage line. With the amount of wind this tree is getting, and it's not getting any younger, it's starting to get into its retrenchment phase. Some of these trees could, branches rather, could easily start busting out. And one other thing to consider is the weaker side of the tree being washed out. Not as much structural integrity over here. That happens to be on the side of the utility as well. So if the tree did fail at the base, it would definitely go towards the line. And there's a lot of branches. They don't have any overhangs, and they have done some utility prunes just for minimum clearance in a high fire threat area. You can see those utility cuts up there. But that stem, if we follow it down right to that crotch, it's pretty well rounded. I don't see any major issues. Yeah, it's pretty well rounded crotch right there. It doesn't have any included bark or seams that I can see from here. But if you look just above, kind of hard to see probably with that sun, but that branch right there is rotted out. So that is going to continue to creep into that stem, and if and when that branch goes, it's going to take that power line down. So for the interest of public safety and building a partnership with these communities on greater wildfire defensible space, I think we need to do a heavy safety prune on the upper part of the crown of this tree. Do some good directional pruning. Try to get this tree a little bit heavier on the backside. Definitely a beautiful tree, fun to put your hands on and just try to imagine how old this puppy is. It is a very big tree. So I don't know if I'm capturing this very well, but she's a monster. All right, Data Tree Consulting team, signing out.